Buenas noches, alumbrando la vela de la abundancia y la prosperidad. Thank you for joining us today, lighting up the abundance candle. Listening to a little bit of panameño, Rubén Blades. Bailen conmigo. A ver. Ajá. And we're gonna welcome panameña Desireé a la Mocha. Desireé. Para que baile con nosotras un poquito. Nosotres. Para darle una muy buena bienvenida. ¿Lista, Desireé? A bailar de la manera afropanameña. A ver.
Tengo mi banderita.
A ver, ¿cómo se hace en Panamá? Muéstrenos.
Hola, dame un segundito, espérate. Estoy tratando de hacer algo aquí. Espérense, no, don't judge me. I think it's that one. Okay.
1 second.
Sí, patria. ¿Cuántos
¡Epa!
panameños hay? How many Canadians? ¿Cuántos panameños? If you're from Canada, drop a comment.
Sorry, I can't hear you. I just turned off
The
this
music?
beautiful music by
I know,
Rubén
Rubén Blades.
Patria,
Patria,
querida.
Mi patria.
How are you?
I am well.
¿Cómo estás, Desireé?
How are you? I'm trying to set up. Like a grandma, trying to figure it out.
Always a little bit, not completely on where we want, but we're human. We're not perfect. I'm definitely not perfect. We're still gonna have fun, and I'm so excited to interview you. How are you? How was your day?
I am well. I'm excited, but I'm nervous because it's like your account, Travel Latina.
Well, thank you so much for joining us. I'm so happy. Let me introduce you. Thank you so much for joining us. Desireé is a Panamanian attorney. That's right, a boss, an attorney who is very passionate about bringing awareness to our Afro-Latin Caribbean culture, travel, and jewelry with a purpose. This is why she created a meetup group to connect with other Afro-Latina women in Atlanta, Georgia, for them to exchange their love for their culture with others. She is a founder of Afro-Latina Travel, a platform dedicated to portraying Afro-Latina women, Afro-Latinx who enjoy traveling. This also founded Gems by Mocha, a jewelry line for the strong, ambitious, and sophisticated individual. Wow, you're doing so much, and I'm so excited to get to know more about your journey. And, I met you through the Latino World Travelers Travel Fest, and I got to be on a panel with you. It was so great to learn about you from there, but now I want to focus only on you. So I'm excited to learn more. Shall we get started, or is there something else you wanted to say before we do?
I just want to say thank you. Thank you for having me on your platform. I have looked up to you and your platform for years. I believe you were the first Travel Latina Instagram that I found. And really the first one, besides it being the first one, the one that was really at the moment putting Afro-Latinas on your page. So I was like, this is amazing. So when I realized I was on that panel with you earlier this year, I was like, oh my God. So I just want to say thank you. I admire you so much.
Oh, thank you so much. That means so much, especially all the hard work that we put into it. And, you know, as you know, still quite the journey in entrepreneurship for us and for me, especially, but my team. So I appreciate it. You also very much inspire us. And I love that we can collaborate and work together and see where we can move forward together and bring each other up. It really is all about, you know, how can we do things so that we all do better. So I appreciate it. Thank you. That means a lot. Thank you so much. So let's start out with, tell me about your entrepreneurship journey. When did you start?
I'm pretty new to it. I officially started 4 years ago. That's when I was doing that's when I started with the meetups here in Atlanta. So everything was free, little by little. It was just events for us to get to know each other. And the group started to grow. And I said, well, you know, maybe I can do something with it, with my passion. And 2 years after that is when I started Afro Latina Travel. So Afro Latina Travel, originally it was just to post women that were Afro Latinas. And then I said, you know what, maybe I should do something with it. And that's when the idea came that I wanted to do retreats. And I wanted to go to different countries in Latin America that actually show the Afro side of each Latin country. So we were supposed to have our first retreat. We all know this in 2020, but we all know that COVID happened. So it has pushed plans back a little for us, but that has been the journey. Officially about 4 years ago, with just me being frustrated that there wasn't a space, at least at that moment. When I first moved to the US, I felt like I wasn't represented. I wanted to connect with other Afro Latinas. So I was like, okay, let's go ahead and do the event. So that's pretty much how it started. And then I have, like you mentioned already, the Gems by Mocha.
Yes, which I want to know more about. I feel like I don't know enough about it, so I'm excited to know more and more. So did you, before we kind of talk more in depth into each of your passion projects and your businesses, did you start any initiatives as a kid or before Afro Latina Travel or Gems by Mocha? Any evidence of your soon to bloom entrepreneurial spirit before 4 years? You said 4 years ago was when you really started a lot of these things. Was there any little kind of sign or any kind of idea that maybe this was something that you'd be interested in doing when you were a kid or when you were younger?
I feel like I was always a creative person. So I think that's pretty much how it started for me. I was always doing events at a young age. I organized my grandfather's 90th birthday, his 95th, his 100. And I paid attention to small details. I was very like in my ways of how I wanted it. I have a vision. I wanted it to be planned out. Um, so I think that's where it started. Just me being very creative.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I would agree with that. I think that creativity is such an important part of entrepreneurship, and just innovation and having that vision to think outside of the box and try to figure out what is it that people would like. You know, you really do have to think outside of the box. So, and how is entrepreneurship unique for Latinxes? And then we're going to cut that question up a little bit. So first, I would like to know like what you think about for Latinxes.
Okay.
And then I would love to know what you think about entrepreneurship for Latinas in general.
Okay.
And then we're going to move on to Afro Latinas more specifically. So what do you think yeah, so how would you say entrepreneurship is unique for us?
For Latinx, for the Latinx
For
community.
Latinx first.
Okay. Latinx community, I think it's amazing because Latinx are loud and proud as they should. They want people to know that they're here, they have something to offer. And I think it's so important because now the newer generation, if they don't have any support, at least they can go now to social media, because they can always see, at least in social media, hey, if this person is doing it, I can do it also. So I think right now is like a great time to be alive, because now people are just so vocal about it. And it's, if we would have thought about like 20 years ago, it people weren't as vocal as now. So I think now it's just it's amazing. It's amazing for Latinx, because like I said before, everyone's just loud and proud about it. So I'll say that about Latinx. And for Latinas was the second group, right? Also amazing. I think everyone's winning. I think it's just amazing because I was reading that Latina-owned businesses right now are the fastest growing woman-owned enterprises right now. Yes, snaps, flags, everything. Like this is us. Like Latinas.
Ahorita esa bandera, eso sí.
La bandera, mama. Like we're out here, we're thriving, we're doing what we're supposed to do. Imagine, as a matter of fact, I believe the number was 34%. It has grown over these past 10 years. Latina-owned businesses has grown 34%.
Yes.
Hold up.
And it's so needed.
I don't think you heard me. 34%.
That's amazing.
Yeah,
I think we need to pat ourselves on the back for that. Round of applause.
Right.
That's really great to hear. You know why? Because something that's being talked about a lot in our community is the Latinx wage gap, especially for Latinas. Like, it's just terrible. And as we're learning a lot about, more and more about financial literacy within the community, a lot of the ways that we can combat that wage gap is entrepreneurship. So thank goodness. I did not know that statistic, and I'm so glad you know that and that you're sharing this with us. Thank you.
I actually got it and I wrote it down. My source is from that number. My source is from the International Society of Logistics. If anyone wants to go back to that, they can look it up. And just get more information about that. But I think that's great. And you just said something like le diste en el clavo, which is, if they're not paying us what they're supposed to pay us, then Latina women are out there creating jobs for themselves, for other people. Like, amazing. So
yeah, we have to do things for ourselves, because obviously no one else is doing it for us. Right. Even with this whole movement of, people trying to be more aware and trying to do more with diversity and inclusion, it's not enough. We got to do things for ourselves. And I do believe entrepreneurship, as hard as something as it is, it's not something that's easy. As hard as it is to do it, I do believe it's one of the best ways to combat systemic racism and the wage gap. So thank you so much. You came prepared.
I tried. I think it's like the attorney in me.
So what about Afro-Latinas? That's what we really want to know. That's why we're here. That's what we really
have enough time. Obviously, we all know this is, I'm very passionate about that. So I think growing up, I was surrounded by a lot of Afro-Latina entrepreneurs. The difference is I feel like people weren't really, Afro-Latina entrepreneur mindset. But the difference is, I think back then, when I was growing up, people weren't really supporting, probably because you're not out there in the media. The media doesn't really have us out there. They'll rather go to a white-owned business, or, you know, to a man-owned business, or whatever the case was back then. But I don't know. I think sometimes it's hard. It's sad also. Como el dicho que dice, un poquito de Spanglish, like nobody makes it like in su propia tierra, right? Mm-hmm. So I feel like it kind of applies a little bit in this scenario where people really weren't really supporting, and it wasn't also in media. But now things have changed, just like how for Latinas it has changed. I think that over the last few years that I have seen, that I have witnessed, at least here in the US, that's not the case anymore. I feel like Afro Latinas now are really using their voice. They want people to know that we are here. We want validation. We want people to recognize us. We want people to include us in the group of Latinos, you know, and we're so vocal about it. And we're creating spaces, we're creating jobs, and for us, for other people. So I think it has been game changing, absolutely. So when I see, it's important to have representation, because when I see Afro Latina owned businesses like Yo Soy Afro Latina, when I see Café con Libros, which is actually owned by, it's a coffee shop in New York owned by a Panamanian and Afro Latina Panamanian woman, I get happy. I get happy because it's like, wow, things are changing. I remember when I first got into Instagram with Desireé Mocha, and I found Yo Soy Afro Latina. I was like, oh my goodness, this is amazing, right? This is
I actually went to college with her. I know her.
Really? I
believe her name is Bianca. Bianca. Yes, Bianca. She dated somebody that I knew, a girl that I knew.
She just got engaged. Did you see that?
She just got engaged. Yes, I saw that. Good for her. Congrats, Bianca.
Yes, congratulations. Oh, we need to tell her.
But one of my best friends, one of her good friends, hopefully not creating any drama, but like one of my best friends, good friends, used to date her. So, but girl, so happy for her that she is engaged. She looks so happy.
Yes, everyone go follow her. If you guys are not following,
Yo Soy Afro Latina.
She was one of the pioneers when it comes to entrepreneurship. Right now, and like really proud and loud about, you know, accepting your Afro Latinidad. So when I see, you know, boss babes like these, I'm like, wow, this is amazing. They're making it. People are recognizing them. So I think it's amazing, because I always say representation is important. It really is. And I always stress on this because I feel like sometimes people think I exaggerate, but I don't. I get so many comments, people, you would not, like, you have no idea. Like, I got a comment, I think it was like a month ago. Somebody was like, I was trying to explain Panama, Central America, and the person was like, Central America, is that even a thing?
That's unfortunate.
Un minuto de silencio para esa jovencita. Of course it's a thing, right? So I get all these comments.
Como para darle...
Sí, exacto. Con la bandera.
Eso.
Con la bandera. And I get comments like, you know, I don't look Panamanian, or, you know, you're this or that, and, you know, you don't look Latina and all this. I get that all the time. So that's why I'm always stressing representation is important within the Latinx community. So going back to what you were saying, sorry, because I'm always talking about that. But going back to that, yes, I think it's amazing that we have Afro Latina babes right now doing it big, because now the younger generation, they're going to see it. They look up to us and they're like, wow, I can do it too. They're opening more doors, more job opportunities, and we're just out there. So it's amazing.
Yes, I agree. You know, there is really so much to say about the erasure of Afro-Latinxes in the Latino community, in the Latinx community. it's not okay. It's not okay. We need, just like in this country, we need more representation in media, um, in businesses and entrepreneurs, which is what we're talking about primarily. And Latinx we're just such a heterogeneous group. We're every color on the spectrum, and it's important that we show that. And it's important that we show that with businesses as well. I agree very much. Thank you so much, Des, for sharing that. So, what exactly does entrepreneurship mean to you? What does it mean to you?
Having a vision and executing that vision. Pretty much that's what it is. And knowing that before you execute that vision or while you're doing it, there's going to be so many ups and downs. So many ups and downs. It's not easy. If anyone tells you it's easy, please give me their number. I want to know how they made it easy, because it's not. It's I think normalize showing the hard side of entrepreneurship. To be honest, it's very hard. A lot of tears, a lot of just frustrations. But then there's like you feel so happy. You feel so like complete when you finally see your vision like that came to life. Mm-hmm. Like, oh, there's my baby. This is what I wanted. Like, yes. Mm-hmm. So that's what entrepreneurship means to me, at least.
Yes. It really is about that fulfillment of seeing it grow and taking the first step, and really, just seeing it start, remembering that you started from nothing and started from, we've been, even just like, I just imagine Travel Latina, like we've been volunteers for over 6 years now. And, is that ideal? No. But hopefully one day we'll be able to look back and be like, wow, we worked as volunteers and worked for like no money for so long, but it was worth it. It was worth all that that hard work, and it was worth all of that labor and knowing, even though we knew that, okay, I might not make any money, but money isn't everything. Sometimes money isn't everything, right? I mean, obviously we want to fill our banks up and like, pay our student loans off, be able to have a family one day, or whatever goals we have, obviously, but like, just how fulfilled, how prideful, how orgullosas will we feel when we look back and just look, wow, just see how it all came to be. I think it's so fulfilling. I think it's so wonderful.
I love that you said that, because that is so true. Not everything, and it's great that you mentioned that, because not everything has to be, yes, we are talking about entrepreneurship, but not everything has to be about money, but it's what you said, it's that fulfillment. So the events that I do in Atlanta, I do them like quarterly. I don't get anything from it. And it's just, I did it because I was frustrated and I wanted to connect with other Afro-Latinas, and I wanted to share about my culture. And I've actually made really good friends.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I mean, it's amazing. So I completely understand what you're saying.
Yeah, no, that's actually one thing. Another thing, just the very genuine connections I've made too. Like, I honestly, that was like the least, I think I didn't expect that at all. That was like the last thing I expected. Right. But yeah, for real, like I have one girl, Victoria, Gonzalez, she's been working with me from the beginning, free articles, like a total volunteer, editor, everything. She's done a little bit of everything, social media. And now she lives in DC. We hang out every 2 weeks. Cindy Medina, like she's just my social media marketer. Like we've become so close. Like we send each other WhatsApps. We've met up a couple times. Like well, actually, I think only once, but still, like, it feels like I've seen her more than once just because of this relationship that we've formed. And there's definitely other people that I feel very the same way. Like, wow, we've connected in this very unique way, and we didn't even know each other, and we trusted each other. I'm not saying that there hasn't been some bad situations in the past. There has, you know, we are human, and especially our community goes through a lot of trauma, but so that impacts interactions. But yes, I totally agree. Just like the unexpected things that come out of connecting with people, and not just thinking about money alone.
Exactly.
Not just thinking like, yeah, sure, everyone wants to live. Everyone wants to be able to cover their basic needs and reach their goals. But I think it really does come down to genuine connection and yeah, like you said, like seeing this baby grow, right? Seeing it become an adult, become a mature machine, something like that.
Yep, absolutely.
So what do you recommend to a creator who wants to create a business? Just an Afro-Latina or a Latina? Latina.
Just do it. To create a business, just go for it. Like, that's my quick answer. Just do it. What's stopping you? I mean, we're going through almost at the end of the pandemic. You're here now. You're still here. Do it. Like, de verdad. If it has been on your mind and you can't stop dreaming about it, thinking about it, thinking, oh, this could be this and that could work for this. That might be a sign. Just if you can't stop and you're over here like fantasizing about it, just go ahead and do it. I can give you a few tips. I wrote them down because I actually want this to be very helpful. So you will see me reading a few of the tips. Yeah. Please be advised that this is no legal advice. Okay, this is not legal advice, people.
The attorney, of course.
This is not legal advice. So to start, like, just write down, have a notebook and write down all your ideas and start like separating them in groups. That's pretty much how you start. And start with the first thing, I guess, the name. And go with, okay, this works, what doesn't work, and run it by one or two close friends or people that you trust. Run it by one or two people that you trust. I say this because you're just starting. I believe a lot like in vibes and energy. So you don't want to bring everyone into it. You know, they'll find out when they'll find out. Just because, you know, just keep it with your close friends and ask them like, hey, do you like this name? So I remember when I started, when I started with Desireé Mocha, because everything pretty much falls under Desireé Mocha. And when I started with it, told my sister, told two of my best friends, and they're like, yes, they like Desireé Mocha. And I had people come and ask, like, it didn't make sense if you're trying to talk about natural hair, blah, blah, blah. That's another thing. Ignore the negative comments, the bad comments. Some people, they don't even realize what they're doing. So just ignore it. Other people are giving you all of these negative comments probably because they tienen envidia, because they are envidia, they have envy, right? As he said, yeah. So because you're probably doing something that they wanted to do or whatever the case is. So you can start like that, write down the names and kind of like what people like, and then start writing down your ideas. After that, if you want to do things legally, again, this is not legal advice, you get an LLC. You figure out your legal strategy, how you will incorporate it, if it's going to be a corporation, an LLC, etc. So you do that. You apply for your EIN number. If depending on what type of business you're trying to do, if you need special permits, all of that, you write it down, right? So, and make a checklist. You don't right away have to get an LLC, people. You do not have to do that. You, not at all. You can just start by just doing it very simple. So you get your name and you get your website. Okay, at least do that. You can start with that. If it's not if you can't start with a website, then baby steps. Then you get a social media account and make sure that you have it. That way no one else can get it. So just start by baby steps. So boom, Instagram name, Google, make sure that nobody has it. Then you search for those hashtags, make sure that no one's using like your name in hashtags, or that way you can find people also easy to see if they're using it, right? And then boom, Instagram. Let's say the name is La Mama. La Mama, Instagram. And then after a little bit, you start gaining more people. Then you get the website. If you want to take it up a notch, then you get the LLC. You can retain an attorney. You can retain an accountant so that they can help you with it. And you apply for your EIN, which I mentioned. You incorporate it to your state, whichever state you are, right? And then you go little by little. For instance, me, I'm going to use Gems by Mocha. I started steps by steps, little by little. That's pretty much how I did it. And I use a website that is amazing, which is Shopify. And Shopify, I built my website. And it's just, Shopify is amazing because it's like the website, and then I also manage everything down from my inventory, all the emails that are sent out. I have my templates. So whenever you go online, you purchase right away, Shopify does it for me with the templates, and you get thank you for shopping with us. When I send the tracking number, I put it in on my app because they also have an app. And then Shopify will send you your tracking number, any updates that I want to do, everything. So get something also that makes life easier. So if I want to pull up all my receipts, everything, Shopify has it all in there, the inventory, todo. So just try to get something that aligns with your lifestyle. For me, Shopify is easy, makes my life easy. And also customer service, talking to Shopify it's superb. So yeah, let me see, what other tips can I say? So after you have that, let's say you want to sell sandals. So find out who's your group, who's your niche. If you're going to be selling to the Asian community, if you're going to be selling to the Afro-Latino community, then see where they have festivals. Google it. Put yourself out there. You really, as an entrepreneur, you really have to put yourself out there and make calls and see, hey, can I just pop up? Can I go? Can I shadow you? Can I do this? Really pop yourself out so that your niche, your group of people can know who you are, and they will be like, oh, yes, that's this person, La Mama. This is, whatever. Like La Mama is the example I was using a while ago. So that way they'll be like, oh, you know what? I want to use La Mama because she sells sandals for Latinas. And then that's how you go, like word of mouth, right? Another good tip is hashtags. Once you're on social media, try to use a bunch of hashtags. Sometimes, yes, Instagram shadow bans you. I feel like it does. And it can help, it cannot at times, it depends. It's a hit or miss, but keep using the hashtags, kind of like figure out how to use them. That way, when you have your hashtags, you can also click on the hashtags to connect with other people, see what the competitors, what is it that they're doing, learn from them. Don't copy them, learn from them, but don't copy them exactly what they do. Do things your way. And that way, when people are searching for hashtags, they'll find you. It will pop up. What other tip can I say? Just after, like, pretty much just put yourself out there. Just, like I said, just put yourself out there. And then once you're out there, you can start small and see like what really works for your brand. For instance, like me with Gems by Mocha, there was a specific necklace that people weren't really purchasing a lot. So it's a learning experience. So I won't really make those anymore. I won't really sell those a lot because I know that my group, the people that follow me, they're probably not really loving that necklace, right? I might love it, but my people don't love it. So then you got to see what sells and what doesn't sell, right? So for instance, I know, as for a matter of fact, I know that Latina, it sells out quick and in gold, not silver and gold. So I already know, little by little, I may take that 10,000 steps. Okay, good. Woo!
Winning in so many ways today.
Eso. Good. But yeah, mommy will be proud. But yeah, so I know that Latina in gold works, right? Same as Panama necklace. Oof, because that's the people that follow me. So that's just pretty much what I attract, right? So Panama is always sold out. I can have 20 new ones and it's unbelievable. So you pretty much have to know your community and see what sells and what doesn't, and little by little. So yeah, I think that's pretty much what I can say. I don't know if I'm answering your question, but if you have any specific questions of what else about how they can start
your business. Well, I did want to kind of add to, or kind of emphasize what you've already said, add to or complement what you've already said. First of all, I love what you say about passion. I think that is so important. Like, do something you're passionate about. And it's amazing how, when you're, like you said, dreaming about it, visualizing it, writing about it, like at that point you are manifesting just by visualizing, just by dreaming about it. And you will love what you're doing if it's something you're passionate about. So I think number one, I'm emphasizing what you said with that. Number two, I think you kind of mentioned like start just put yourself out there, get started, even if it's with whatever. So one of the best information that I was, or like kind of like guidance that I was given, it's an Afro Latina. She's Mexican, Afro Mexicana. Her name is Rachel Brooks. She works for Instagram now. She created her own company website called Citizen Made. Oh my gosh, like this woman is amazing, first of all, but she was the one who gave me the first time, like my first just like role model, and also my first guidance. And at the time I thought she was crazy. Honestly, I'm not even gonna lie. I was in college finishing up. She was a year above me, and we went to college together, and she was already started a blog. That's how she got started. She got started with a blog, and she told me, Ale, you need to start something and you're going to pretty much do it for free for a while. And I'm like, what? No, I'm not doing anything for free. Like, I got student loans. I can't be doing that for free. And then lo and behold, I graduated in 2010, and lo and behold, 5 years later, I started my blog. Because when you start a blog, it's free. You don't,
right.
You just do the basic, you do just the social media basic, and a blog with WordPress, for example, basic. And you're not spending money. You're just kind of you're just pumping content out. You're getting people connecting with you. You're connecting with people. Like, it happens vice versa. And you literally just bond over what you're passionate about, but also start to collaborate, start to make things happen. And so, yeah, I would say put a limit on what you do for free. Obviously, like, I'm not telling you do everything for free forever. No, like, boundaries are important, and like also establish, like kind of cutting it off if it gets to the point where you're just so drained and don't continue. But yes, I do think if you're passionate enough about it, you are willing to not make money right away. So that's one thing. And another thing that you said that I also wanted to emphasize, thank you for mentioning Shopify. I hear about it a lot. And I hear really great things. So I wanted to also just kind of say that again. I have not used it myself. I have been told many times to use it. I think we are personally still looking at doing our own thing with our own, like kind of at the back end, creating our own thing at the back end of our website and making a more than just our blog pretty much. But I appreciate you sharing that information with the viewers because yes, I have heard so many great things about Shopify.
Absolutely.
So other than that, do I have any more questions about what you said? I think what you said was very clear, and I think thank you so much for being prepared for just like listing all of these this amazing information. As somebody, like I said, who I don't consider myself an established entrepreneur, like I don't make consistent money. And it sounds like that's where you're at. You are making consistent money especially with your beautiful jewelry. And y'all have to make sure you check at Gems by Mocha. It is beautiful. Her jewelry is gorgeous. I've seen like different countries like Panama or Colombia or Mexico. And like sometimes it has like a little map, right? Or sometimes it's just the words like Panama, and sometimes it's like the map. Right?
Yeah, so for countries we have the maps, and the words I have is Latina, Latinx, Afro Latinx, Afro Latina. Those are the words, and Mamacita. But actually, I can give some of you a sneak peek at this is for the fall collection. I'm excited. It's not out yet, but it's a small earring of
they're
Africa.
beautiful. Is that Africa?
Sí, Africa.
I love it.
So,
is it like an outline?
Yes, it's an outline.
Oh,
yes,
that's so pretty.
Yes.
And where do you source? Do you source only from one place, or
no,
what jewelers do you work with?
No, I actually source from different places. That has been a hit or a miss. Talk about letting people know about your struggles. Yeah, that has been a hit or a miss. When I first started, there was a communication issue. I got back my necklace, one of my first necklaces, and it said Afro Latina +7. Called them, what is this? Well, they were like, that's what you put. And I was like, what do you mean? I put Afro Latina. So then they sent me the screenshot, and the +7 was me actually selecting the font. Their font was 7.
Oh, so it was their mistake. And let me guess, they didn't. Did they not reimburse you?
Yes, they did, but it was a pain because everything is set back, and those are the things that you're gonna go through as an entrepreneur. Yeah. My when I wanted it to for Gems by Mocha to be out, I think I wanted it to be March 2020, and I had been planning it since 2019, and another thing I want to say, 2019, when I was really like, this is going to happen, was because I was at this retreat. And I mentioned this because it goes with entrepreneurship. And it was a retreat for just entrepreneur women that, wanted to learn more about, being an entrepreneur, social media, blah, blah. And the retreat was a Pangea retreat. At the moment, they're not doing any retreats because of COVID. And going to this group, I did not know them. I only knew them through social media. And it was amazing. Going to this retreat was life-changing for me for so many reasons. So I think it's so important that you surround yourself with like-minded people, just like that are trying to do the same thing as you. Because sometimes people that are not where you are at the moment, they want to discourage you, or they think you're crazy. You're going to pay all that money for that. You're going to invest all your time in that. You're going to leave your job for that. You're going to, people sometimes are not going to understand why you're doing certain things.
No.
So it's
and they say that the 5 people that you spend the most time with, you become like the 5 people that you spend the most time with.
See?
So
it's just so important to be surrounded. So if you're trying to be an entrepreneur and you have all of these passions and dreams, then surround yourself with that. I'm not saying people to leave your best friends. That's not what I'm saying.
no.
What I'm saying is just surround yourself, start going more to events and try to connect more with people, networking, etc. Because they have tips, they can guide you, they can help you, they can encourage you, they understand, etc. So I went to the retreat that Pangaea had. I love these girls. Love them. Follow them. I mean, they're not doing retreats right now because, like I said, of COVID. But I just love them. There was so much love, so much helpful information at that retreat. And I was telling them, like, yeah, I just feel like I don't know how to start with gems. They're like, just do it. They were like, just do it. And as I was at the retreat, I did the Instagram name, right? I got it. And that was in 2019. So I was like, okay, I had a whole plan, my vision board, blah, blah, blah. And then COVID happened. And then, it didn't go as planned. So I was not able to launch on March, and I had to wait and push back. And then it just worked out for the better because, as I was mentioning, Afro Latina plus 7, that was not it, right? That was not it. So,
I'm so sorry. Yeah, I mean, yeah, there's always going to be aches and pains. There's always going to be mistakes. There's going to be times that you want to quit. And there's going to be times that you are going to want to cry. And it's not perfect. It's not perfect at all. Everyone has a different journey. So
yes.
I'm so sorry that happened, but I'm glad that you
I was so
you got out of it. So.
I'm laughing now, but at that moment I was like, why, God? ¿Por qué? you know, Latina women were dramatic. So some of us. So I was like, oh my God. But yeah, so
I'm sorry, did you mention where you sourced, were they vendors in the US, in Panama, or where?
I have vendors in the US. I also have one vendor in Panama.
Okay.
A few things that are really pertaining to Panama is from Panama. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. So, just if something is not working, then try somebody else and just you don't have to
experiment. It's all about experimenting. What works, what doesn't work. Absolutely. Sometimes you might even find out that a vendor that you worked with, that you didn't like something they made or something that you collaborated on, but then you actually end up finding something else that's better that they do once because your products are always going to change. So yeah, I mean, it's just really great to get experience of working with so many different people.
And when that happens,
vendors.
Exactly. And just to agree with what you say and to add on to that is that if you're not sure, you don't have to get a whole lot, right? You don't have to, or if this is the case where somebody's making something, right? And you're not sure if your crowd, your people, they're going to purchase a lot of those new t-shirts that you're about to do, or socks or whatever, then just start off with a small amount just to see if people like it.
Yeah, which is basically what I'm doing. I'm trying to see if there's a market for these mochilas. I don't really see myself selling products in
Okay.
the future. I'm not sure though. We'll see. So far, the community really hasn't liked products. Like they haven't really bought products, but they buy trips. But as we know, we're in COVID, so we're
I
still
see
in it.
for you though. If you want, we can talk about it right now or offline. But I see what you could be doing, and you could really benefit from it.
Sure. You know what? Sure. How about as an entrepreneur, what kind of advice, what kind of suggestions would you give Travel Latina?
Travel
I think that's a perfect way to talk
Okay,
about what we're talking about.
you are a boss, babe. You have such a big following that you have done. Yes, you feel that for 5 years you've done it for free, but todo tiene una razón. There's a reason. You've done it for 5 years, but you've been able to create such a great, unique platform. So everyone knows who you are. If you're Latino, if you're Latino and you are heavy on social media, on Instagram, and if you like to travel, people know your page, right? It's a fact. You're like one of the first. So you can benefit so much from it. So many things. Number one, retreats. Yes. And I say it because I don't feel like there's no competition. I don't believe in that. Yeah, I want to do a retreat too, but I'm telling you, I feel like you should do a retreat. Women will love it. Women would go to your retreats. You can do retreats locally. You can do retreats international. It can be any type of way. Don't have to keep it in Latin America. You can go anywhere. You can go to Europe, Asia, donde sea. Woman will follow you. And that's very profitable if done correctly. So I think that's one thing that your platform can do. A second thing your platform can do is consulting. How you were able to build your platform, and it's been consistent. It's not like you're losing followers, and it's not like followers aren't interacting with you. That's not the case. They are actually. So you're clearly doing something great. So you can do consulting to help other people create their brand. So yeah, out of the top of my head, those are two things that I already see that you can do.
Thank you. Yes, those are great ideas. Both things that I've thought about a lot, actually. Like, how can I do this? And honestly, so I did get, not that this is particularly consulting, maybe it could be considered. For the first time ever, I got a gig to present for Latinx Heritage Month. This travel company in Seattle wanted me to present about the Latinx traveler. And what really floored me though was she was like, I really want you to talk about your article on travel is political. And I'm like, what? You care to know about my political view, like, or, you know, my political views or my views on politics in general? Like, are you kidding me? Like, I grew up, the second I talk about race and ethnicity, it's like, why are you talking about politics? Like, people always try, especially white people from the Midwest, always trying to silence me. Like, oh, here you go, you're talking about race again, you're talking about politics, as if it's a taboo subject and as if I had moral inferiority talking about it. So I thought it was crazy that this woman asked me to talk about, like, what?
Aww.
So anyway, I presented and they did pay me. That's like one of the first times I've ever, and it just happened last week or 2 weeks ago.
Congratulations,
thank you. Like, I could not believe, like, I still am in shock that she asked me and people listened in the meeting, in the virtual meeting.
And it's something
but yes, I mean, I'm like, okay, well, I don't know if that's consulting per se, but I definitely feel like it could kind of go hand in hand. So I appreciate that's such good advice. I appreciate it so much. But anyway, back to you. This is about you, and we should probably wrap things up soon. But so I do want to know, first of all, a little bit more about Afro-Latina travel, but before we'll end with that. So before we get to that, what has been the most challenging part of being an entrepreneur for you?
last year, 2020. Easy.
Unexpected
Easy
anything,
COVID.
right?
COVID completely stopped so many of my plans with Gems by Mocha and with Afro Latina Travel. I was super excited. I had been planning for like a year and a half, the retreat, um, so many details. I was super excited. We had a photographer coming from Belgium. I had made so many connects in Panama. It was amazing. And then,
Nada.
and yeah, it's like, you know, and then trying to get back to it has been still a challenge. And at first I was like, well, maybe we can go to another country because other countries have opened. But I just knew in me that if I did that this year, it wouldn't be the same. It just wouldn't be the same if it wasn't Panama. Because I want to start with Panama because Panama is my country. I know Panama. I lived there all my life. For those that do not know, I was born and raised over there, been in the U.S. for a few years. So Panama is really home. I have all the connects. What I planned was just amazing. So that was my vision. And yes, other countries have been open, but Panama was shut down last year for 10 months. Almost 10 months. It was crazy. So
Yeah,
that really made things really difficult. And now it has been pushed back and it is happening. I know a lot of people have asked me, it is happening, and let's just hope nothing else for 2022, May 2022. So that has been that. It really just put things so like hard. And I guess my phone is about to die. We still got time though. And with Just by Mocha, the same thing. My stuff got stuck in customs during COVID time. So definitely that has been the most challenging thing.
Yeah, no, there's definitely something to say about unexpected events. Also making sure not to bank on, especially starting out, banking on, oh, this is going to be a solid income right away. No, like, let's be realistic. You have to go in with a sense of flexibility of, anything could happen, even if it is a huge once in a century pandemic. Like really, really, it is so important to go into it knowing that it's not going to be right away. It's not going to be immediate results. Some people might, but that's amazing for them. Kudos. I would say the grand majority do not see results right away though. And just being flexible, having a mentality that, like, even when you are established, money is going to ebb and flow. Money is going to go up and down, and you really can't expect complete stability all the time. Like, that's why when you do become established, that's when you have to start thinking about, okay, well, now that we're established, we need to start planning for rainy days. Now we have to reinvest, or, what have you. But it really is, like, as horrible as the pandemic has been for everyone, and I'm sorry it has been so challenging for you, same for us. Just going in knowing, as when you go into something knowing and not having any expectation, knowing that this could be anything, this could be really hard, then you know what, you're only going up from here, because nothing is going to tear you down, nothing is going to bum you out if you're already knowing, like, this is going to be hard, I'm going to need to be flexible, I'm going to need to be. So
I like that you said for a rainy day. So that's just to add on to what you said. My advice would be definitely save or have a plan for a what could happen. Like the worst case scenario. Always have that in mind. Worst case scenario.
Yes, agreed. I think it's always so smart to do that. You just never know. You never know what life can bring. Just like we as humans, we're imperfect. Life can be imperfect too. And You never know. It's always
You
best to plan accordingly.
Yes.
So let's wrap this up for real. And, you know, I'd love to know what you like most about being an entrepreneur, but then I also would love to know more just in general. I'd love to end on, you know, thinking about Afro-Latina travel and just exactly what you see yourself doing with that in the next year. I know you already mentioned May, but we would love to know a little more about that.
Yes. What I love about being an entrepreneur, where I have seen more really of the entrepreneurship is with Gems by Mocha, because that's where I'm making the profits right now. It's just seeing people's happy like faces, their smile, because once they get that gem and they have something that, you know, that represents where they're from, their background, their culture, people just get really excited. They're like, oh my goodness. And it's so small, but it means so much. So when I see their reaction, when I get their messages, their feedback, it makes me happy. It really does. Because that's just how I am. I'm happy to represent Panama always, especially when you're far away from home. It hits different when you're not in your country. When you're like, you know, wherever you are, the States, Europe, whatever, and then you have something to represent you, it just, oh my goodness, it's such like a satisfying feeling. So that's that. And what I'm trying to get to with Afro Latina travel is to be able to connect people to and educate people and show people that they are Black people all over South America. That's really what I want to do. Yes. And I feel like once we have the first retreat, I know that I'm just going to be like, we did it, Joe. We did it. Like, I'm going to be happy because I can show people, like, I'm one step closer to, you know, showing people that this happens, that we're out there, because I feel like there's still so much ignorance out there. And if I can do these retreats and put it on the map and help people realize that we're out there, I feel like I'm doing something. I'm adding on to this education. So, yes, where you were asking where I see Afro Latina travel, I want to be able to also do, besides our first retreat in May 2021, I want to be able to do more. So I want to go to different countries, so not just Panama, and I want to do something national too, because sometimes not everyone's able for whatever reason.
We're doing Atlanta, collaborating in Atlanta.
We have to. I'm so excited. By the way,
I'm excited. It'll be really wonderful.
Yes. By the way, we need to talk later, because I asked you about Miami. I don't know.
Ooh, will it be Atlanta or will it be Miami 2022?
No. Well, Atlanta for sure, but this is on the side about the summit that they're having in Miami in 3 weeks.
Oh, it's in Miami.
I feel like we should go.
I would
We'll
love
talk
to.
later.
It's in March, right? The Travel Fest?
No, it's in 3 weeks.
It's in 3 weeks in Miami?
Mm-hmm.
Wow, I had no idea. No. I don't, I mean, I as you know, there's no way I can afford anything anytime for the rest of the year pretty much, but I had no idea. Oh my gosh, that's so exciting. Miami.
But that's
in
what
person, and it's in person.
That's what the Latinx is doing. What Latinx Travel Club is doing. Yeah. So yeah, so if I can do, I want to do not just my connections, like my retreats abroad. I want to be able to do something also local, national, so that, you know, people that aren't able to do, we can still have some type of experience. It's not going to be 4 days similar, but, you know, we can do like 1 day, 2 days. That will be amazing, because you know, I'm all about connection. So I do see myself doing something the next year, also national.
And meetups are really wonderful. Like, it's such a great way. They've always been good vibes. A great way, again, to connect with people genuinely. You have fun. You do cultural things that bring you together. Yeah, it's just, yes, I think it's awesome that you're doing that. I'm excited for whatever we make in
Yes.
Atlanta.
I can't wait. I know our connect will be so good. Yes.
Yes, it'll be so fun. It'll be really fun. I'm really looking forward to it and figuring out a date. But yeah, I think anywhere else you plan, Miami or anything, I think it would be wonderful, especially for Afro Latinas and for those of us who maybe are not Afro Latinas but want to join
Yes,
you.
absolutely.
I mean, I think it's just awesome. I think it's great.
Aw,
Thank you so much, Desireé. I think that this conversation was just like went above my expectations.
Aw.
Like, I'm so happy. I knew it was going to be a great conversation, but I'm just like, I'm beaming right now. I'm so happy. I really think that this will be really helpful for a lot of people. So thank you so much for your time. We're so excited to collaborate with you more, and I wish you all the best with Gems by Mocha, with Afro Latina Travel, and just being a lawyer boss babe.
Gracias.
Des a la Mocha.
I wish you the same. I hope we can definitely collaborate. I know you and I have spoken about it. I want us. 2022 is going to be our year. We're going to start
it's going to be fun. It's going to happen.
It's going to happen. And anyone that's on this live, if you have any questions, please do not hesitate in contacting me. Just send me a DM. I'm more than happy to answer any questions about entrepreneurship, about Gems by Mocha, the retreat. Yeah, and if you have a business that you want me to shout out, let me know. I will shout out your business. Absolutely. We got to support each other.
Yes, you are so wonderful at shouting out. Thank you so much for doing that. And yes, again, I love that energy. I love that you bring people up, and we really do. We have to bring each other up. We do. Gracias, muchísimas gracias.
No, gracias a ti, mi amor. Un beso, un abrazo.
Un beso.
Okay.
Que te vaya bien.
Okay, bye.
Chao.
Chao.